Piers Morgan has marked his return to Good Morning Britain by ranting about non-binary people, again. The outspoken GMB host returned to his ITV show this week after a 4-week break, in which the guest hosts conspicuously managed to avoid diatribes about transgender people. But Morgan, who has repeatedly used his platform to moan about transgender, non-binary and gender-fluid people, took advantage of his first show back to raise his pet subject once again. The ITV host was interviewing TV doctor Professor Robert Winston when he randomly brought up the subject. He said, "I absolutely think anyone that wants to go through the process of transitioning from male to female, or female to male, it's such an incredibly difficult process to go through. I would completely support people that do that. Where I've got a problem is this whole opting out of gender. Being gender fluid, waking up one day and thinking you want to be whatever you feel like. Is that not damaging to society, if we allow everyone to self-identify however the hell they like?" Professor Winston replied, "I can't answer the second question, but with regard to the transgender issue, I agree with you completely that support is needed. I think one of the problems is we don't really understand what is going on in the background of these people who are transgender, probably before birth. There are increasing evidence that there are hormonal and other influences which in fact dictate how people feel about their gender later on. Not all people, but some people. I think it would be helpful to do more research in that area." He continued, "I think the other issue of course is that transgender, gender reassignment as it's called, certainly does require a massive amount of quite expensive treatment. People who are transgender certainly wouldn't regard themselves as being ill, yet they want to have free NHS treatment, so there is a tension there as well. I think some of these treatments are not without risk, and professionally I have seen people later on who have deeply regretted transitioning." Contrary to Professor Winston's claims, evidence suggests that gender confirmation surgeries are one of the most cost-effective treatments provided in terms of impact on quality of life. Being able to transition is proven to greatly reduce transgender people's risk of suicide, depression and self-harm, while boosting life happiness. Also, contrary to his claims, medical studies suggest rates of regret are just 1 to 2% lower than for conventional cosmetic surgery and many other medical interventions. Morgan has had a rather surreal fixation with transgender and non-binary people for some time. The mere mention of gender is often enough to set Piers off on a diatribe at the expense of the trans movement. Interviewing non-binary couple Fox Fisher and Al on GMB last year, he told them, "Schools are now running riot with non-binary kids. It's like a contagion." He then continued to question statistics about the number of transgender people who attempt suicide because of bullying, insisting it was probably, like 2 or 3 people. On other occasions he has suggested he could identify as an elephant, and has repeatedly interrogated unsuspecting guests about their genitals in interviews. Writing in the Mail on Sunday, confessed that his #1 pet hate at the moment is the absurd gender-fluid movement, driven by people who don't wish to be defined as either male or female. His surreal fixation has even seeped into showbiz interviews on GMB. Actress Sinequa Martin Green was nearly lost for words when Piers began attacking trans people during what was meant to be a chat about her Star Trek series. Cutting away from prepared questions, he told her, "I'm very confused and unsettled by gender fluidity. People who wake up one day and they're Sinequa, and the next day they wake up and feel like they're Michael." The actress patiently explained that she was playing a woman called Michael on the series, not a transgender person. Read this: the celebrities that you didn't realize.